everyone, it's Laura. Happy Catter Day. So today's a little bit of a different video. It's not about makeup, it's actually about cats. And what you may not know is that another passion of mine besides makeup is cats. Really all animals, but in particular cats. Now, before I go ahead and show you my foster cat, I kind of want to just give a little bit of a background of how I got into fostering and like what exactly fostering is. So, growing up, I didn't really know what fostering was. Like, I heard the term, but I kind of just wrote it off as like a ploy to get you to get an animal in your home and fall in love with it and adopt it. But that's actually not the case. Anyway, I didn't really find out about exactly what it was about until I was living in Japan and I got my cat, Sora. In Japan, there was a colony of cats living near my house, and I didn't really think anything of it because, like, growing up, society tells you cats can live outside and they're fine and whatever, so didn't really think much of it. Plus, there had been stray cats other places I've been. Like, I went to Italy when I was 14 years old, and there was a lot of stray colony of cats there, so didn't think anything of it. Until one of my neighbors, where the colony was like living in her yard, she took 2 neonatal kittens and dumped them in an empty lot across the street from my house. So these kittens are very young and they can't survive without their mom. So they were about 2 weeks old. Now, I waited to see if the mom would come to get them, but I didn't see any mom coming, and this was like in May, so it was gonna get cold at night. And neonatal kittens need to be kept warm because they can't regulate their temperature, which I did know that at the time. And also, the kittens were very visibly sick, so I made the decision to bring them into my home and take care of them. And I was researching how to take care of neonatal kittens because I didn't really know much about that at the time, and I discovered the YouTube channel Kitten Lady. She is great, highly recommend her. She really helped me through that time, and she also opened my eyes to fostering and TNR, trap, neuter, release. And that also led me to discover other people who were in animal rescuing and fostering and TNR. So at first, I thought that this lady just dumped these kittens and it was going to be a one-time thing because they were really sick. She was old. Maybe the mom cat abandoned them. Who knows? But she kept dumping kittens in that lot. So I contacted a cat rescue in Japan and I worked with them to do a TNR of the cats around my neighborhood. So we were able to get them fixed, and we, took the kittens that were still in that window to be socialized, and they went to the rescue to hopefully be adopted. Now, those 2 original kittens that were dumped, I took care of and I raised. One of them is Sora, the one that I have now that I kept, and the other one was Cloud. Unfortunately, Cloud was very sick, too sick, failure to thrive, and didn't make it. So shortly after that, I moved to the United States, and I had always intended to get into animal rescue here, but I just got really busy. I went back to school to get my master's degree. I was also working, and I just kept putting it off, like, oh, I'll do it later, I'll do it later. And then one of the animal rescuers I was following on Instagram unfortunately lost her battle with depression, and that really made me say, like, okay, I'm not putting this off anymore. I really need to get back into this and sign up to be a foster. So, what is fostering then? Basically, fostering is just an extension of the animal shelter. So when animals go to an animal shelter, majority of the time they're just in cages. They're very small. It's not really conducive to them. It's scary and stressful for them. It's also very easy for diseases to spread, especially among the kittens that are too young to be vaccinated. Fosters are so helpful with taking some of the load and pressure off of shelters. It's also a really good way to see how the cat reacts to different situations in a home, like how they're with kids, how they're with other animals, and stuff like that. So they can match them with the most optimal adopted family. Fostering is also super important to some shelters because some shelters, they have to accept all animals that come in. They can't say no, and if they get too overpacked, they have to have no choice but to euthanize. I know it's kind of like a hot button issue about supporting those kinds of shelters, but the reason they're doing that is because they just don't have the manpower or capacity to take care of those animals. So actually, Kitten Lady made a really good video explaining all about that, so I highly recommend you watch it. But anyway, the shelter that I'm working with is a no-kill one, which is great. They're overrun. They have like over 100 cats in their shelter right now. And I live in Massachusetts, so the euthanasia rate for shelter animals here is actually pretty low. So I would definitely look into the state you live in. I know some of the southern states and California, the euthanasia rate is super high there. So that's why fostering is really great. And if you can do it, you should. I know a lot of people have reservations about it because they think, like what I thought back then is like, oh, I'm going to fall in love with the animal and I won't want to give them up. And I totally get that. I was a teensy bit worried about that, but I think if you go into it with the mindset that you're just cat sitting, like you're just watching someone else's cat and they're gonna go back, or just that you're helping, because the alternative is them just being in a metal cage, or worse, euthanized. Anyway, if you want to see more about fostering, I definitely recommend checking out Kitten Lady's videos. I'll post her channel down below. Let's just go look at my first official foster cat. So this is Smokey. So I am fortunate enough to live in a house with enough space that we have a spare bedroom. So we've been using this as her little apartment where she hangs out. So her name's Smokey. She's 2 years old. Oh dear. Her backstory is that I think her previous owner just couldn't afford her anymore, so they gave her up. She also was not spayed, so she was spayed a few days ago. She came wearing this little cute orange slice, but that didn't last too long, kept coming off. So I have this little onesie. I used this for Sora when Sora got spayed, and I feel like this works really well. So we had that on her, but it's like 90 degrees today, so I decided that I was going to give her a little breather. She's actually really good about not licking the stitches, but, you know, I'm here to keep an eye on that. But that will go back on later. She really loves playing with these kind of ribbon wand toys. She loves bunny kicking kickers. She loves churro treats, any kind of treat really. And most of the time she just likes looking out the window, so we got some nice cat TV in these windows. Yeah. We do have the door open now, so for the first few days she just stayed in here because I have 2 cats and we want to introduce them slowly. But now we keep this door open so she can kind of explore the house. She's ventured into the hallway and the bathroom in my room so far, but not really anywhere else. Right? Oh, you're just so sweet. She's such a good girl. Where are you going? Yeah? So I try to play with her about twice a day, and then in the evenings I come and I just lay on the spare bed and just do stuff on my iPad, just so she can kind of get to know me and get familiar with me. And last night she actually went on the bed and snuggled with me for the first time, so, you know, that made me feel real good. Right, Smokey? You're just a good girl. She's so sweet. She actually already has a potential adopter lined up that's gonna meet her later on in a few days, so hopefully that goes well. Anyway, that's my first foster cat, Smokey. I'll see you next time. Bye.